It's Lisa with Queen Bee Creations. Welcome to today's live. We are going to be working on a bag of Santa kisses and a simple Santa card. As I told you last week, I got called in kind of last minute to fill in a craft fair, and I have been busy working on that and didn't pull something together for live today, and I figured I'll just show you what I'm working on, and then I'll be making more for my craft fair. That sounds about right, doesn't it? I don't have the text running across the screen, but the gal who won the prize patrol for last week was Ellen Jampole, and she was a replay watcher. She liked and shared the video as a replay, so I hadn't seen her name before, so I made a comment on the comment on my video and told her to go fill out prize patrol. So I did pick a winner. Congratulations to Ellen. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to move on down to my desk. Oops, that's not what I wanted. This. Okay. So this is the simple Santa card we're working on, and as you can see, it's really simple. So that was one of the reasons I was working on it, because this, as I said, I got called in to do this last minute, so I only had a week to prepare, and these would be quick and easy. And then I'm making Santa kisses, and I've got my Grinch kisses already going, and they're going to be very similar to this. They're just going to be a Santa suit like this one. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start out with a basic card base of 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and I am using thick basic white. And then I have a layer of real red that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. Then I have a strip of basic white that is 4 inches by 1 1/2. And then I have a 3/4 inch strip that we will cut down to 5 1/4. Then I have a 1 by 1 of the gold foil, and then a 3/4 by 3/4 of the black that's going to make our belt. So really quick and easy, as I said. We're just going to pull this together. It is freezing outside. This morning I woke up, it was like 20 degrees outside. So we're definitely hitting winter weather. So we're going to get a high of the late 30s next week. Today I think it was low 40s. But for this California girl, it's still very cold. And then, as I said, I'm going to cut this down to 5 1/4. I meant to do that on the red strip because I like to glue this down onto the red and then trim from the back side so that I know that I've got it, you know, not too long and not too short. That looks like that's going to fit just perfect. And then, of course, on the inside, I just stamped a simple greeting. And for that, I used the online set Greetings of the Season. This is something I've been highly recommending, is the Greetings of the Season and the Everyday Greetings, because the two of them go together. They are the similar font and mix and match very well. And we can always use a good set of sentiments. So I'm going to stamp that on the inside. But I know that you can kind of look at this and think that's easy enough to make. But the bag is my guess of what you're more excited to make. So I'm kind of just blazing through this one so we can get on to the bag. You can also make this Buddy the Elf by doing this in Granny Apple Green and then giving him the belt. And then I wanted some buttons for his shirt, and I didn't have any black ones in my stash. So what I did was I pulled out some of my basic rhinestone jewels and a black Stampin' Blend. And what I can do is just color right over the top of it. And the alcohol ink sticks very well to these jewels as it does to white ribbon or a lot of our embellishments. We can just recolor them with the Stampin' Blends, which is something we cannot do with the Stampin' Write markers. The Stampin' Write markers are fabulous. They just have a different use. You would not want to use them to color onto the rhinestones or color onto your stamps. My favorite thing to do with our Stampin' Write markers is to color directly on the stamp so that I can color the stems one color and the leaf the other and stamp it all in one fell swoop. The way I like to lay the buttons down is I lay the top and the bottom, and then I can pick the middle one and just judge the distance of making them even, rather than my doing this one and then this one and then this one and hoping they're evenly spaced. I just do top, bottom, and then I split the difference for the middle. So welcome everyone. We are only like 5 or 6 minutes in and we've already completed a card. So if you have some cards that you still need to make to get out into the mail, this might be something to think of doing, because it is so quick and easy. I said we're going to take the inside, and I think I'm going to do doing this one. It's the most wonderful time of the year. So I'm going to line this up on my grid paper, putting a straight line underneath the words so they're nice and straight, and then I'm going to align the block with one of the lines, keeping the block straight so that hopefully I'm stamping straight in the middle. There we go. So there is our basic Santa suit card. For our bag of kisses, I'm going to start out with a piece of real red cardstock that is 5.5 by 7 7/8. And then I'm going to score it with my scoring tool. I love to use the Simply Scored when making boxes and things, because I just find that I am much more accurate when I can butt this up into the corner and then run the stylus down in a groove. Okay, so I'm going to do this at 3/8, 2 7/8, 4 1/8, and then 6 5/8. And like I said, I sat down and I started making bunches of these, and so I was just scoring and shuffling and scoring and shuffling. And another nice thing about the Simply Scored is it makes this assembly line process nice and fast, because I put my little markers up there at the top, and so I know where my groove is and where I want to score. Let's see, this was 4 1/4, that's what it was. So this one. So once I have my little markers in the right spot, I can assembly line and do a whole bunch of them. And again, we're using the small end of the stylus because it fits down into the groove and gives us a deeper score line. If I was using designer series paper, I would use the fat end of the ball because it doesn't cut into the paper nearly as deep. It rides right on top, so you don't crack your designer series paper. So now that I have this part, now what I want to do is cut up. I'm going to just cut off this little tab on the side. This is the part that's going to hook it together. And then I'm going to remove these score lines. So you can either do this by just cutting straight up on either side of the score line, or you can cut up at an angle. It's up for you, but these are going to be the little flaps at the bottom of my box that are going to make the bottom. And so by removing the score line, there's not that little bit of extra. It doesn't have to fit exactly. This is what I mean. So you'll see when we go to fold up the bottom that it's going to be much easier to put together. Okay, and then I am grabbing my, where is it? I need my other pieces to this. I want to cut a window hole in the front of the little box so that we can see the Hershey Kisses on the inside. And because this is a little wider, I need to use my full-size cut and emboss machine. But I basically want to take an oval or any kind of a shape, any kind of label die that is approximately this size. And I'll measure it in a minute. But I have to use a die instead of a punch because it wouldn't, I can't, I want to say, there's too much extra cardstock in the way that I would not be able to just slide a punch in and punch that. Even if I was doing it on this side, I think this is a little too deep, and our oval punch has the two ovals, so it wouldn't match up right. So we do need to use a die, but any kind of die approximately this size, which is 2.5, I guess it cuts 2 1/4 by 1.5. So I just want enough that it's going to cut this little window hole, and then it's going to leave me some room at the top where I can close the box. So it can't go, all the way up. That's why it's pushed down towards the bottom. I'm making sure that I'm leaving at least 1/4 inch because I want to be able to put tear and tape back here. That's going to hold my little window in place. So where's my tear and tape? There we go. I've also put this in place using mini glue dots, just kind of one in each corner. It doesn't need to be secured super well because I don't think it's going to move around much. Because, once you get it in there and you have the kisses behind it, it's really not going anywhere. I need my clear piece, and because it's clear, I can't see it. Gotta love that. Here we go. So what I did is I cut a piece of acetate, just a little bit bigger than the oval and enough that it's going to cover up the 1/4 inch of tear and tape. If I had just the rectangle and was using glue dots, I could go ahead and take this and bring it over to here and be picking up one and put one on each corner, and then you could set it down. But we're just basically making a window so we can see the Hershey Kisses, but they don't fall out of the bag. Okay. then you probably want to use a bone folder and burnish the edges. And then we're going to put some tear and tape down this. And for this, I would be pretty sure to use tear and tape because this may get a little more action or need to have a little more stability than that window sheet. And then I'm making sure that I'm flush at the top, and then folding this over. Now it should butt right up against here and not show anything. It doesn't show much. It shows a sliver, and I'm enough of a weirdo that that sliver bothers me. So I just come in and cut it off, but I don't think a customer would really notice that because it is very small. And then I'm going to fold down and make the bottom. So you can see I have a little bit of grace, I guess I want to say, on the sides. When I fold that in, it doesn't come all the way flush out to the edge. There's a little bit of room, so I don't have to be extra fussy when they go in. But because these ones fold in and then these fold in, eventually, you know, it all gets covered. But I don't have to be quite as fussy when I close them. Does that make any sense? Just removing that score line gives me a little bit of grace when putting that together. And then I put the tape on this side because I wanted the folded, like the pretty side on the front of the box. There's nothing wrong with putting it this way. I just don't want to see that seam. And I mean, and you don't, but I think it's prettier this way. You can do it whichever way you want. Hi, Laura, welcome. Jan says she loves craft fair ideas. Good. I see Christy's on. How's your husband doing? I hope he's better. I was thinking about you last night. I was going through my emails and clearing out some older ones, and we had that discussion a few months ago about how he was doing. So I just wanted to check in. Okay, so I'm just making sure that I'm kind of square, pushing that down. Now for the top, I'm going to push in on the sides, and I'm kind of closing it, I want to say like a milk carton. But I'm basically pushing in the center, or more what I'm doing is making sure my edges out here flush up, and then that will find the middle of this. So when I first push in, I'm not exactly in the middle. I'm close, but I'm not exactly. But when I come over here and I match up these sides, it kind of rolls that score line over a little bit before I burnish it, making sure that it's exact. Okay, so you're starting out by just kind of pushing in the middle, not burnishing yet, but pushing in from the sides. And then we're going to make these edges line up and these edges line up. Okay, and it holds approximately 15 Hershey Kisses. Okay, Jan has a good idea about sandwiching the tabs between so they don't show. You could do that. Because they're on the bottom, I don't think they show, and I don't think they're catching on anything, but that's an idea. For these ones, I'm using the Santa hat kisses because I liked the fact that they look like Santa hats. You can use the plain old silver ones. Sorry to hear that, Christy. I hope the doctors are all over that. I'm so sorry. But for the Grinch kisses, there's actually some Grinch Hershey Kisses. And so I try to at least, you know, there's a hat on the top and his face on the bottom. And so I try to turn at least one so you can see that it is actually the Grinch in there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, and 15. And that like fills it up past the window or to the top of the window and gives us enough room that I've got at least an inch up here that I can pinch this together and be able to staple it. I had brought down my stapler. Okay, then I did, I don't have stamps that say these things. So what I did is I went to my computer and I printed out the little sayings onto plain white cardstock, and then I cut them out on my trimmer. So they're basically the size of a business card. So if you have any business card paper like from Avery that's perforated and they can break apart, they work perfect on those little business card pieces. But I just printed on plain old basic white cardstock and then I cut it with my trimmer. So Santa has been busy granting Christmas wishes, but he left you this bag of kisses. And then the Grinch, this year's been a mean one, so I'm giving you this bag of kisses. And then I just attached it to the top of the box. The first time I did it with glue dots, and that worked fairly well. When I took them to the craft fair, though, they started to, fall off. And so you can either staple it on there, or what I did another time was I took a small hole punch or a small shaped punch. Here I have this star, which I thought was kind of Christmassy. And then I could put a hole, a 1/4 inch hole punch, and then tie it with ribbon. Or I can just go ahead and staple it. It just puts kind of a staple in the way. So it depends on whether or not that bothers you. This one is just glued. I was trying to see how well that would stick if I used tear and tape. So I'm going to try that for my craft fair. We'll see how that goes. I'll let you know if they stick or they fall off. And then the last thing we need to do is make our belly band. And so for that, I took a piece of basic black, and this is scored at, looks approximately 2.5, 3 3/4, 6 1/4, 7 1/8, 9 1/4. It's what I did really was I just took and wrapped it around the box and kind of pushed with my fingers to find out where it needed to be scored. And then I went back in and just burnished those score lines after I had kind of wrapped it to indicate where they need to go. But I just want it to wrap around the box. And then I had started it at an edge so that I can mash them up on the back, and it's going to be over here. Now, the other thing you can do is you can have that seam meet up in the middle, and then that you can put your belt buckle over the seam and hide it. So either way works. But let's see. So has anybody shopped the big sale? Stampin' Up! Is having they released their list of the items that are going to discontinue out of the September to December mini catalog, and they are going to combine the last chance list with the clearance rack. And so now they're going to be one and the same. They're going to be in a last chance category. And so now they will not have to do away with them at the end of the catalog. If we still have some inventory left, they can leave it in the last chance category until it sells out. Obviously, they are still first come, first serve, and they're up to 80% off. So really a great sale going on. So if you have some last minute gifts you need to pull together or just want to save some money, go ahead and shop the sale. But that is what I had for you today. I hope you enjoyed our little project and that you give the box of Grinch kisses and Santa kisses an idea, a try. I am so distracted. Setup is tonight and I am nowhere near ready. So thank you to everyone who likes and shares the video for Prize Patrol. I obviously can't mail those, but you will get the Santa card in the mail for liking and sharing my video. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you back here on Monday at 2:30 for another live. And congratulations to Ellen for being our winner for Prize Patrol. And she was a replay watcher, so I commented on her comment on the last video. So go ahead and claim your prize. The link to do that is in my comment. So thank you so much. And Christy, we will be praying for your husband. That's just horrible right before the holidays. I hope the doctors figure out what's going on and can help him the best way possible. So thank you, and I will see you Monday. Thanks. Bye.